Speaking of the play-in games, I watched a little bit of that Golden State Warriors game last night too. Gambo.
Steph Curry hitting those two big threes at the end, man. Memphis was battling. They were battling. It was a close, hard-fought game. Jimmy Butler, oh, my God.
Playoff Jimmy.
Jimmy Butler.
Playoff Jimmy. Yeah, he's been playoff Jimmy the last two games.
I see these people on Twitter like, yeah, you guys didn't want him. I'm like, no, that's not true. We did want him. We did want him. The only time when we got to where we didn't want him was like if you're going to have to give up the house for him, like everything. Like, the Durant and Dunn and Iguodaro and 2 draft picks, and there was a point where we're like, okay, it's too much to get him. Yeah, but none of us were like Jimmy Butler for Bradley Beal done. Jimmy Butler for Bradley Beal in the first done. Jimmy Butler for Kevin Durant done. Like we were fine with that. I was fine with that.
I went back and forth a little bit, to be honest with you, because it wasn't Jimmy Butler. It really never was. I mean, no, that's not true. Sometimes it was Jimmy Butler because he can be kind of a pain. It was. Was this team worth it? Was this team worth Jimmy Butler? Was he, this terrible casting crew that was put together so awful and with a coach that got fired the day after the season ended? I know what Jimmy Butler did in Golden State, but think about what Jimmy Butler was joining in Golden State. He was joining Steph Curry and Draymond Green and Steve Kerr, guys with unbelievable pedigree and unbelievable history of winning. They just needed to change the equation a little bit. I don't think it's a guarantee that what Jimmy Butler does there, he's doing here, because he's not joining the same team. He's not joining the same coach. He's not joining the same star. He's not joining the same team that has the same experience that Golden State does. I don't think it's a given that Jimmy Butler comes in and he just fixes everything for the Phoenix Suns, because that's a vastly different organization he joined in Golden State. One with way more history than the Suns have.
And leadership and other leadership.
All the stuff the Suns were so lacking in all
he would have been
long.
the only guy. He would have came in and he would have changed the culture and he would have helped them. Look, if they had gotten Jimmy Butler, the Suns would have been playing either last night or tonight. Okay, no doubt in my mind.
I believe that.
No doubt.
I do believe that.
Now, would they have beaten Oklahoma City? No, but would they be playing right now? Yesterday or today?
Yes,
100% in my mind. Jimmy Butler's got them play. If you traded Durant, you got Jimmy Butler. You're going to be playing in one of these games. You're going to beat out Sacramento or Dallas for one of those spots. I truly believe that.
So here's my theory, and I think you're going to agree with this. All right. If you're a Suns fan, I believe it is in your best interest to root for the Golden State Warriors in the series against the Houston Rockets. I believe you are a big Warriors fan.
You want the Rockets to get KD.
You want the Rockets to get out. You want the Rockets to fail and get out as soon as they possibly can, so that now we get a nice test on their desperation to get Kevin Durant. What do you think of my theory?
Yeah, I think there's part of what I think and part of what I know. I would expect that. Look, Houston was interested in Durant at the deadline. They didn't do anything, but they were interested. I think Houston, New York, and Minnesota are locks to have interest in Durant. Houston, Minnesota, New York. I think that San Antonio could have interest, and I expect that there's going to be other interest too that I don't know about at this time. Okay. But do I expect the Timberwolves to kick the tires on getting Durant, the Rockets, and possibly and so Minnesota, New York, Houston, to me, are going to be teams that would want Durant. To your point, yes, I agree with that. If these teams fail in the postseason, it makes them a little bit desperate. It makes them a little bit like, oh, okay, we got close, but we're not close enough. We got to get over the hump. Could Durant get us over the hump? So, now is it better for Houston to go to the Western Conference Finals and lose? And maybe then they're like, oh, man, if we had had Kevin Durant, we would have won this series.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose there's a counter argument to say such a thing. It feels like you get to the Western Conference Finals with that young core, you might be more inclined to say, why the hell would we want to break this up, man? We're right there on the doorstep. We are so close to our breakthrough that we don't need Kevin Durant. Whereas if you fail in the first round, then you really have so much more of the offseason to kind of ponder what it is that went wrong and what you need to add. Look, Houston might be interested either way. I just think an early exit helps the marketplace for Houston. I think it definitely helps the marketplace for the Knicks. Certainly that's going to make them more desperate if they bow out a little early. The Knicks they're interesting. They might not have the young players that Houston does, but they do have a former Sun that they might not want to sign to a long-term contract extension in New York that I'm sure Suns fans would be more than happy to see back here, as Lauren nods her head as I see her out of the corner of my eye.
Listen, if it is the Knicks, it's probably going to be him.
That I know you do.
You got to make the money, man. You got to make the money work.
You got to make the money work. I'm just talking from a pure satisfaction kind of feel. Can you imagine how good that would make Suns fans feel to get Mikal back in a trade for Kevin Durant? Again, you got to make the money work, and I totally understand that. And I haven't even begun to figure out a way to do it. No, he didn't. He didn't.
He did not have a great year, but you had to try to fit in with all these other terrific players. And look, he's still dynamite. But yeah, I would think, look, I think if you could get Green and Jabari Smith in a Houston deal. Look, you might not be able to get the three guys that I said, Eason, Green, and Jabari, but could you get Green, Jabari, and something else? Maybe. I love the Minnesota roster, but I got to kind of find out what you get there. The Knicks, I don't know, could you get Josh Hart? The one thing that people, you're not going to get all these, you have to make the money work. Like, everybody, like the people that are saying, you're not going to get that much. You are. Like, you're going to get a good package. You're probably going to get back, I would say maybe 2 players in a pick or 1 player and 2 picks, but you have to make the money work. So it's going to have to be, somebody that's good. Like Minnesota, Houston, and the Knicks don't really have bad contracts. They don't have guys that, none of those guys have Bradley Beal that they're going to trade for Kevin Durant. You know what I'm saying? Like their high money guys are all like pretty good. So you're going to have to make a trade that brings back Phoenix something good. Are you getting back anything close to what you gave up? No. You're not getting 3 players back in 3 first-round picks or 4 first-round picks.
I think we all know that at this point, don't you think?
Right.
I mean, that's we know that. I mean, it's impossible to, considering what they gave up to get him. It's you're not going to get that back. But I do think you're rooting for the Golden State Warriors, and I certainly think you're rooting for the Knicks to get out of this thing fast too, so that market can develop itself.
Thanks for watching Burns and Gambo. Click to see more from the guys and hit the button in the middle to subscribe so you never miss a video from Arizona sports.